Now, it's Boomer Life, lifestyle discussion designed to make your life more engaging, meaningful, and complete. Celebrating the baby boomer generation, this is Boomer Life on CIL 650.
With you on my mind. With you on my mind.
On my mind. Well, there's Nat King Cole, and this is Boomer Life on CIL 650. And on our minds today is, a conversation with our friends from Neurokinetics Clinic in Vancouver. We're going to talk about the brain, and we're going to talk about pain and chronic pain, and get through a lot of stuff here today. It's always a pleasure to have this group back in the studio with us. Philippe Silvestre is the founder and president of Neurokinetics Clinic in Vancouver on Granville Street. The clinic manager is Sonia Dale. And J.C. Gordon is Director of Liaison and Logistics with Neurokinetics. Nice to see you all back in the studio again. Hello.
Hello.
Hey, good to be here.
Philippe, let's start with you because you're the guy with the big show coming up in September now. You're going to take on... Now, Sonia, are you going to go to England to participate in this ceremony?
You know what? I'm going to go wherever he goes.
Okay. Because Philippe has just recently, within the last few weeks, received a notification that he is about to be inducted into the International Academy of Aviation and Space Medicine in a ceremony at Oxford University in England this September. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So this goes back to your early days as a flight surgeon with the French Air Force and your orthodox Western medical background that, since leaving the Air Force and moving to Canada, has been integrated with a lot of thought and modalities of Eastern medicine, thus producing the Philippe Silvestre we know today, who is an individual who works in all forms of medicine to assist people with traumatic brain injuries, correct?
A little correct. Yeah, correct in general. In particular, I was trained in Eastern medicine by the end, straight after my Western medical curriculum.
Okay.
So it is very close. I began my career, I was already trained in both.
Okay. So here in Vancouver, though, which is really, in terms of the globe, it's the line that divides or perhaps integrates Eastern and Western medicine, isn't it?
This is why I chose Vancouver.
Yeah. Tell us about Neurokinetics, JC. You're the new guy on this team. You've only been with them for about a 6-month term so far. What brought you to the firm, and what do you do?
Well, I was brought to the firm by being introduced by a former patient that I had, who was a patient of Dr. Philippe's. She introduced us in a dinner we had almost a year or so ago, and Philippe and I got to chatting about our vision for how people can be helped, what the potential for people is from a healthcare perspective, and we realized that, hey, we're on the same path here. And so it has been my honor and privilege to be involved with the clinic here to basically help patients, because the neurokinetics paradigm is completely different, Sterling, than the Western medical model.
Yeah.
Simply because of the amount of time that we spend with every patient and the involvement of each patient that we require in order for the results to be produced that we're able to achieve. So my role at the Neurokinetics clinics is to basically help people who are coming to see us for the first time, who are not aware of how we work, and helping them through the process from when they first come in the door through the treatment program and then when they're finished with us. Because when we're finished with a treatment program with our patients, that's not the end of it. We still have an ongoing support with all of our patients to ensure that they are going to maintain that peak performance that we've moved them into from, in some cases, trauma and incapacitation when they initially come to see us.
Right. And Sonia Dale is the clinic manager, and as JC has just described his work around the clinic in terms of helping people move through the process, you are the person that most people, or certainly many people, speak to for the very first time when they call or email Neurokinetics with a curiosity question or a request of some kind for assistance. Generally, you're the person that's going to either take that call or read that email.
That is right, yes. I take the initial, phone call or email. If I need to forward it on to support staff further, I do. But mainly it is the initial contact is through me. So any phone calls, emails, everything is done through me.
All right, now we're talking on this particular program. Last time around, we talked about dizziness and other brain issues. But this
Yes.
time we're going to talk about pain, specifically chronic pain and trauma issues. So when someone calls Neurokinetics, suppose they're listening to the broadcast now and they find you three a fairly enjoyable bunch, and you know, the kind of people I could spend a little bit of time with, and oh boy, have I got this problem. So when they call you, do you request a description of the problem, or do you just let people talk on and ask questions later?
Well, I feel for the conversation. Some do call in. They're just a lot of confusion. They don't know how to describe their condition or describe their certain symptoms. So it's just basically I say as in me or support staff here in Neurokinetics or with the patient calling in, we help identify and weed out the information that we do need to get.
Right.
And we need to get and receive on our end to help us better understand what they're going through, what they're suffering through. So just asking the correct questions, also leading to, what are you going through? How long has it been? What are your certain symptoms? Can you sleep? Simple things of can you sleep also
Right.
helps us.
Right.
Are there any sensitivities to light, to sound? Certain things like that, mainly that are jumping to my head right now
Sure,
that I
of
can
course.
say, that help us better and identify certain things. Simple things as even driving. Some people can't concentrate at work. Some people can't drive.
Right.
Some people, cannot do certain activities they used to do. Right now, look at, we have beautiful weather outside. Some people honestly can't go outside and enjoy the beautiful weather.
Right.
They can't go biking. They can't go hiking.
Right.
They can't go swimming. So we want to help them get back and, restore their self and restore their brain and get them back going again.
Let's get the doctor involved here. Philippe, when we're talking about pain, and I mentioned chronic pain specifically, or intractable chronic pain, talk to us about the types of pain that you see and treat most at Neurokinetics.
There's a tremendous amount of modality of pain. Unfortunately, we are a complex anatomy. We are complex beings, and pain can be even physically multiple origins and multiple expressions.
Okay.
It can go from burning pain, ramping pain, crawling pain, spasmodic pain, excruciating deep bone pain between quotes, and the way these pains can be explained and expressed is very, very multiple.
Right.
We have also more than physical pain. One can express and live with cognitive pain, which ties mostly with a painful processing, like a software in a computer,
Right.
which would be overheating the computer out of his own processing. We can experience
So
that.
cognitive difficulties then, right?
Cognitive pain.
Okay.
It's more than difficulty.
And how would we recognize cognitive pain?
It is not recognizable unless one knows what is a cognitive processing.
Okay.
So, and this is what is that explains why patients talking about their pain to doctors, which cannot apprehend the concept of cognitive pain because they never been told about that.
Okay.
So it doesn't make anybody bad. It's just a lack of information and education.
Okay. So you have physical pain and cognitive pain. Are there other types as
Emotional pain.
Sure.
Of
Okay.
course.
Sure. Of course. Yeah.
Everybody unfortunately experiences that sometimes. But when it takes a great deal of extent and never goes down, that becomes incapacitating.
Right.
You have sleep-related pain as well, and also intellectual pain and experiencing pain during an executive process as well. For example, you rest, you relax, pain goes away.
Mm-hmm.
Now you begin to do something, you begin to organize and plan an activity, and pain will flare up. That is executive performance-related pain. So you can understand the multiple phases of what can be pain about.
And we mentioned earlier at the beginning that we were going to talk about pain and trauma issues. Dr. Philippe, does pain always come from a trauma or a traumatic event of some kind?
Not always. Not always. When we talk about trauma, it is normally understood that it would be a physical or an emotional trauma. Those are the essential modalities of trauma one knows.
Right.
But there are more ways to get traumatized. We can be cognitively traumatized. In a sense, we could be feeling burnt out is a cognitive trauma, for example.
Okay.
So working long hours and relentlessly, and all of a sudden finding ourselves in a place of the body gives up, everything flares up, sensitivities, etc., will reflect the cognitive trauma.
So
for example.
identify the type of pain. If suppose now I'm a caregiver, my spouse is a boomer like me, and she's not in great shape, and I spend almost all day, every day, making sure she's okay. I clean the house, I make sure that there's food on the table, that she's looked after, gets her meds, and all of that stuff. And at the end of every day, I put her to bed, and I'm beat. I am absolutely beat. I've got no gas in the tank at all. Caregiver burnout is what that gets called sometimes.
Yes.
What kind of pain is that?
That would be a cognitive pain.
Interesting. Okay.
As a causation.
Because it happens with boomers a fair bit, you know.
Yeah, and that is not well explained outside of neuroscience. It relates to brain physiology.
Okay. So, and when when Sonia takes a call from someone who is experiencing one of these types of pain, and do they usually compound? Is one sort of lead to another? Do they sort of they start piling on top of each other?
Absolutely, yes. And the pattern will vary depending on one's activities and one's terrain, one's terrain and one's ways to do things.
Okay, so Sonia, when you start, and you said that when you take these calls, you do ask a series of questions, including, are you sleeping okay?
Yes.
And just basic human questions like that. But you're able fairly quickly to put together the sort of, in your mind's eye, to see a picture of the sort of burden this person is carrying.
That's correct, yes. That's why we ask a series of questions we do. It's just to help us better understand what they're going through, the severity of it, and that point we also recommend that they do come in to the consultation stage where they come into the actual physically to the clinic. Or if they're not able to, because as JC was saying, in our previous show before, he was saying a lot of our stuff, patients do come in, fly-in patients we have.
Sure.
We do a lot of stuff through Skype. So if they're not,
right?
yes. So if they're not able to come in physically to our clinic, or they're, just not wanting to, or don't have the ability to walk up and say, hey, I'm not ready to come in physically yet to your clinic, to your office. I want to speak to someone. I'm desperate to speak to someone to seek help, but yet not willing to come in yet. We will help them. We will still speak to them through Skype.
Interesting stuff. So, also bring all the resources to bear when it comes to finding a way to help people, Philippe.
It does with my training in telemedicine. That's space medicine.
Oh, okay. So the space medicine training leads the good doctor to employ Skype and FaceTime if you're an Apple user.
Sorry, it's very important, Sterling, as we work with our patients, not to violate any boundaries.
Sure.
Okay, so we work within the comfort zone of all of our patients, because this is a long journey that we're going to be with them. We're going to find out what the root causes is, deal with the root cause, and then provide them with a treatment program and the ongoing support well after that.
Okay, so again, it's not any kind of process that's going to happen lightly or quickly.
Absolutely not, Sterling. Simply because we're dealing with patients who have never had any answers in the Eastern or Western medical models. We are dealing with the incapacitations as a result of brain dysfunction, and that's where Dr. Philippe brings his brilliance into our program to move that brain dysfunction into function, which what we find time and time again eliminates the symptoms.
Interesting stuff. And that process is sometimes referred to as brain optimization. Yes?
It is.
Okay. Well, we'll find out exactly what the heck that means when we come back. We better take a break here, and we'll find out lots more about Neurokinetics Clinic, which you can do, by the way, while we take the break at neurokinetics.com. And we'll find out a lot more about brain optimization after this quick timeout.
Celebrating the baby boomer lifestyle. This is Boomer Life on CL 650.